In this problem, you're trying to look for the expression of the piecewise function. So technically, we never discuss anything identical to this, but if you think about it, for all three different pieces you observe in this graph, they are actually all straight lines. You know how to find the equation of the straight line, so technically we know how to solve this problem. The only thing that's slightly special is that your function will cut into three different pieces, so you do want to specify what are the cutoff points. So the first one, this point is 4, this point, which is -3. So it's quite obvious your function was cut into three pieces, and it's -3 as one bound, -3 up to 4 as a bound, and 4 as another bound. And by looking at the boundary points, you know whether it's supposed to be included or excluded. Because this is supposed to be a circle, so you do not include that point, hence you are strictly less than -3. This is solid dot, which means that's included in the second curve. This is a circle, so you don't include the input value of 4. And the last case, it's a solid circle, so you do include that. Well, the rest part is to identify the function expression or the expression of the line. Well, the first example is pretty straightforward. It's quite obvious to you that you are looking for something who has a fixed height. If you have a fixed height, it's a horizontal line. It is a constant function. The constant function, everything keeps the same height, so the first piece you have is actually 6. The second piece you have in this problem, you are looking for something which goes through the point. In this case, if you look at very carefully, this is -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 11. So it goes through the point 4, -11. It also goes through the point -3, which is 5, 6, 7, 8, which is -8. So the question changes now. Could you please tell me the equation of the line that goes through the point -3, -8, and 4, -11? So you need to find the slope properly first. You end up with -3 minus 4, which means we end up with -8 plus 11, which is 3, and -7. So you find your slope. Then you end up with y minus, pick any of those points you like to use, y minus -8 equals -3 over 7, x minus -3. So be a little bit careful. If I were to ask for the equation of the line, you can just stop here, but that was not the question. The question is, what was the y? In other words, what's the f of x? Therefore, you need to throw this to the other side, so you end up with -3 over 7, x plus 3, and then minus 8. So this is what you end up with. Basically, what you did is you add the -8 to both sides of your expression. So this is what you found as the final answer for the second part of your line. So along the same line of thinking, what you are going to do is to identify the third line we have here. So the third line we have here, which goes through the point, as you can tell, horizontally 10, height-wise, this is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it goes through the point 10, 7. It also goes through the point horizontally 5, horizontally 0, horizontally 4, height 0. So what's the equation of the line goes through the point 4, 0, and 10, 7? Well, along the same line of thinking, you find the slope first, which is 7 over 6, and then you put things together. Y minus 0 is 7 over 6, x minus 4. In other words, f of x is 7 over 6, x minus 4, which is supposed to be your final answer. I know it doesn't look really pretty, but that's basically how we find it. Essentially, you will test about the identification of straight lines multiple times, and the only thing that's relatively new is to make sure you are able to speak up about the cutoff points, which is pretty clear. All you need to do is to find out the x component of the places where the expression clearly made a change. Well, the teeny tiny pieces you want to be more careful about is whether you should include or exclude the boundary points, whereby seeing whether you have a circle or solid dot, you can identify it pretty easily. Okay, so that's everything we have for this problem. Hopefully it resolves your concern.